do not like the MRAP. I see no basis to even have it in this town. This is a vehicle, and it was just brought up, for intimidation and to strike fear. Yes, it's to protect the police officers. What protects them when they get out of the vehicle? This MRAP does not belong here. This is not the Ukraine, this is not Syria, this is not Afghanistan, this is Michigan City. We're supposed to be in a town that lives in peace and harmony. Bringing fear and intimidation to the citizens is unjust.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Any other public comment? Comments from the public?
I wasn't going to come up here and make any comments because I don't live in Michigan City, but I am founder of the LaPorte County Patriots. There's some...
Excuse me, sir, would you state your name and
Oh,
address?
Lou Carlasara. Lou Carlasara from LaPorte.
Can you spell that last
C-A-R-L-A-S-S-A-R-A.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Biggest issues I'm seeing with this thing is how it's been portrayed. How it's been presented by the media, by the police department. It's not a gift. This vehicle is on loan. It can be recalled from the DOD at any time. A lot of you don't know that, do you? This isn't going to be property of the police department. I have a big list here. I don't want to go through it all. The weight of this thing. I've talked to some of the police and what they're planning on doing with it. Okay. Going up into somebody's yard because you think they're a drug dealer or something. Are they planning on calling NIPSCO to make sure they don't run over the gas lines every time they have a raid? Because this thing's gonna crush sidewalks, gas lines, water lines. It's gonna do damage to your infrastructure if it's used in the SWAT, the way the SWAT teams go, driving up in the yards. You got the issue of the ACLU is looking at the militarization of our police forces. This organization's got deep pockets. Do you have the pockets deep enough to defend against this organization? They're looking at also this type of militarization is happening in the low-income areas where the minorities are. So that's another issue that you have to look at with this vehicle. The cost. You know, I've talked to some of the people. They're saying that they're going to use used stuff. Great, but nobody's come up with an actual figure as what it's going to cost these people to get this thing retrofitted. Where the money's going to come from to upkeep this vehicle. Sure, you're getting free wheels. You know, so what? You're not going to go through them. It's overkill, basically. The comments of Posse Comitatus, man, we're looking at a lot of people are looking at that really strongly, and I think that the day of the normal police department, where you got a cop or walking down the beat and the people are not afraid of them, is over with. This is going to help make people more afraid of our police department. The intimidation factor alone, you're not only going to scare the bad guys, there's kids in those neighborhoods that are going to get scared by this vehicle as well. Lots of things to think about on having this vehicle. The people of Michigan City really do need a voice in this, which they weren't given. The last thing that I've got on my list here is
You've exceeded your 2 minutes, sir.
elections have consequences, and the actions of the elected will be remembered on election day.
Thank you, sir. We always welcome your thoughts. Comments for the public?
Hello, my name is Mark Moldenhauer. I'm from 403 South 19th Street, Chesterton, Indiana. All I gotta say is I'm a Marine, I'm a combat engineer. This type of vehicle was used in my trade. I was out in Iraq, 2 deployments, 14 months total. The thing only has really one use. It's an extremely heavy taxi, unless you plan on putting a heavy machine gun on the ring mount, which if that happens around here, there's something's going wrong. So really all I had to say is the thing's pretty much useless. I don't know what they plan on doing with it here, other than a really heavy taxi going down a road. So they gotta get out of it sometime.
Okay,
That's all I have
thank
to
you,
say.
Mr. Mulvihill. Comments from the public? Comments from the public? Public comment? Public comments now closed. Comments from the council? Are there any comments from the council? I'll start off by making a comment before anybody runs out. It's important to me that all of you know that many of us, I can only speak for myself, many of us in this council did not know that the police, our police force was gonna get that MRAP. We receive emails of police briefs, and we found out about it when it was already in progress. The police force doesn't work for us, and they work for the mayor. The police chief he works for the mayor. The mayor's his boss. And what I'd like you to understand is that please do not assume the members of this council are in favor of this. We're not responsible for this, and many of us, I will speak for myself, I'm not in favor of it. I don't believe it presents a good image for Michigan City. If I were here on a weekend looking to situate with a company that was in Michigan City and I saw that parked outside our police station up by the lakefront, I would wonder what kind of problems this town has. So there is sympathy, agreement with you on this council. Please don't blame us for it. We weren't the guys that we allocated no money for this. I just want you to know that it's important. Comments from the council?
Mr. President,
Mr. Prablinsky?
yeah, I'd like to address the comments that were made about Larkspur and the flooding issues down on the south side. That's been a problem for years. For years. Talking to Councilwoman Boy and previous council people, that's been an issue for years. And it'll be one of my objectives to try to get that resolved. Where we get the money from, we'll have to find out where we'll get the money. I don't know if, you know, the sanitary district, I don't know how much money they have, but who's ever responsible for it, I believe the city needs to step up and take care of that one way or the other and get it resolved.
They've denied.
So I will be talking to you after the meeting, and I'd like to meet with you personally, you know, out there. And I've been out there, and I know people that live out there, and kind of taking it on as a personal mission to try to get that resolved out there, because it's not right to have flooding in basements, crawl spaces, going out buying sump pumps and things like that every time it rains. We have to get that resolved, and we will get it resolved.
Thank you.
Okay. And the second thing, I participated in the beach cleanup over the weekend on a lighter note, and just want to thank Shannon Easton and Michelle Glidden from the park department. They did a great job out there with the park, the beach cleanup. Participated with them. It was like, I don't know, I believe 40 or 50 people. I thought it was a great effort and a great opportunity for people to go out and, you know, clean up the beach, our greatest asset we have here in the city, and keep it pristine as we like it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prablinsky. Other council comment, Mrs. Boyd?
The sanitary district isn't the one that actually cut the tree. They suggested it, the park department, I guess, contracted with someone to cut it. And they were going to cut out the root, but they didn't do it because they said that there's more problems further into the lake that are causing the problem. I did go out with the sanitary district 2 times to visit, and they do have a mess in their basement. They really do. It's not deep, but it's constant, and it just is getting into everything. And there's going to be a big problem with mold. I went out there